You think the TSA body scanner is the most invasive thing happening to you at the airport today? Not even close. While you're worried about taking your shoes off and separating your liquids, there is a silent interrogation happening right inside your pocket. And unlike the TSA, this one doesn't stop once you get through the metal detector. I'm talking about a specific type of application that effectively turns your smartphone into a tracking beacon the second you step onto airport property. If you have this on your phone right now, you are leaking sensitive location data, financial habits, and even your real-time movement to third-party data brokers who view travelers as high-value targets. I know this sounds like a conspiracy theory. I wish it was. But after 15 years in cybersecurity, analyzing data packets and reverse engineering mobile permissions for some of the biggest tech firms in the US, I can tell you that the airport is not just a transportation hub. In the data world, we call it a high-value geofence. Here is the reality nobody warns you about. Airports are unique environments. They are dense with high-net-worth individuals, business travelers, and people who are essentially captive audiences for hours. Because of this, data brokers pay a premium for airport behavior data. They want to know who is flying, how often, and where they are going. And they don't get this info by hacking the airline. They get it from you. Voluntarily. Most people think, I have nothing to hide. But that's the wrong mindset. It's not about hiding secrets. It's about protecting your digital identity from being cloned, sold, or exploited. When you enter an airport, your phone is constantly shouting out signals, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and NFC. But there is one category of app that abuses this environment more than any other. It's not TikTok. It's not Facebook. Those are the obvious villains we all know about. I'm talking about the apps you trust. The utility apps. Specifically, the free VPNs, the third-party flight trackers, and the budget shopping apps you downloaded to kill time at the gate. Let me explain exactly how this trap works, because once you see it, you'll never look at your phone the same way again. When you walk into the terminal, your phone connects to the local cell towers. That's normal. But these specific apps are programmed with always-on location permissions. They utilize a technology called beaconing. Retailers and analytics companies place small, physical Bluetooth beacons throughout the airport terminals. You can't see them. They are hidden near duty-free shops, inside the lounges, and near the gates. If you have one of these compromised apps installed, your phone wakes up the moment it detects one of these beacons. It silently handshakes with the device, logging your exact timestamp and location down to a few feet. Why does this matter? Because that data isn't staying on your phone. It is being instantly uploaded to a server in a jurisdiction that likely doesn't care about US privacy laws. They are building a profile on you. They know you travel internationally. They know you shop at luxury stores or budget kiosks based on where you stand. They can correlate this with your credit card data if you've ever used that app to make a purchase. It gets worse. Many of these apps contain what we call SDKs, software development kits, from third-party advertising firms. You might have downloaded a free currency converter for your trip to Europe. It works great. But inside the code of that converter is a dormant tracker waiting for you to hit an international terminal. Once it sees you're at JFK or LAX, it activates. It starts scraping your clipboard data, looking for copied passwords or itinerary numbers. It scans for other devices on the network if you make the fatal mistake of connecting to the free airport Wi-Fi. I see this every single day in the lab. A client comes to me with a compromised identity, and we trace it back not to a phishing email, but to a data leak that occurred while they were sitting at gate B34, playing a mobile game that was silently harvesting their data in the background. Now, you might be asking, Kaka, how do I know which app is the traitor? That is exactly what we are going to audit right now. You don't need to throw your phone in the trash, but you need to perform what I call a pre-flight digital scrub. If you are serious about protecting your wallet and your identity while you travel, you need to subscribe to the channel right now, because in the next part of this video, I'm going to show you the specific list of app developers that have been caught red-handed doing this. But first, we need to talk about the Trojan horse setting on your iPhone and Android that makes this data theft possible, even if you think you turned your location off. Because the scariest part isn't that they are tracking you. It's that you gave them permission to do it without even realizing it. You probably think that when you swipe down on your phone and toggle that little Wi-Fi or Bluetooth icon to off, you've gone dark. You think you've severed the connection. That is the single biggest lie in modern tech. On 90% of smartphones, that toggle is just a dummy switch. It disconnects you from the network, but it does not stop your radio from scanning. There is a setting buried deep in your location services called Wi-Fi and Bluetooth scanning. On Android, it's often hidden under a menu called Improve Accuracy. On iPhone, it's tied to a system service called Significant Locations. Here's what it does. Even if your Wi-Fi is technically off, your phone is still shouting out a digital hello to every single router and beacon in the terminal, thousands of times a minute. It's doing this to help your GPS map be more accurate. But at an airport, you are walking through a minefield of sensors. When your phone shouts hello, it broadcasts your MAC address, a unique digital fingerprint. Marketing firms and security analysts use this to track your exact walking path from the check-in counter, to the bathroom, to the duty-free shop. They measure how long you stood in front of the whiskey display versus the perfume counter. So, step 1 of your pre-flight scrub. Android users, go to Settings, Location, Location Services, Wi-Fi Scanning. Turn it off. iPhone users, go to Privacy, Location Services, System Services. Scroll all the way down to Significant Locations. Unlock it. You will likely see a list of everywhere you've been for the last month. Clear it and turn it off. Now that we've plugged the leak in the operating system, let's talk about the traitor apps. I've analyzed the data packets from hundreds of popular travel apps. Most are fine. But there are 3 specific categories that you need to delete immediately before you fly. Category number 1, the free VPN. I see this all the time. You're at the airport, the Wi-Fi is public, so you download a free VPN to protect yourself. Stop. In the cybersecurity world, we have a saying, if you aren't paying for the product, you are the product. Apps like TurboVPN, VPNiFi, and XVPN, which have millions of downloads, are often free because they are harvesting your data. Recent security reports have linked several popular free VPNs to parent companies in jurisdictions with zero privacy laws. When you use a free VPN, you are essentially tunneling all your traffic, your passwords, your emails, your bank logins, directly through a server owned by a company whose business model is selling user analytics. You are safer using your cellular data connection than you are using a free VPN on airport Wi-Fi. If you need a VPN, pay for a reputable one like Proton or Mullvad. If you can't pay, just stay off the Wi-Fi. Category number 2. The Zombie Weather App. You downloaded a weather app 3 years ago to check the forecast for a trip. You haven't opened it since. But it's still running. Apps like MyRadar and older versions of AccuWeather have been caught in the past selling precise geolocation data to third parties. Why does a weather app need to know your location when the app is closed? It doesn't. But hedge funds buy this data to analyze retail foot traffic, and insurance analytics firms use it to build risk profiles. If you have a weather app that asks for always-on location access, delete it. Use the default one that came with your phone. It's boring, but it's generally safer. Category number 3. The Retail Beacon Apps. This one is subtle. Do you have the app for a specific coffee chain, a fast fashion retailer, or a coupon app? Airports are filled with Bluetooth beacons, tiny transmitters hidden on walls. When you walk past a specific store, that beacon wakes up the corresponding app on your phone to send you a 20% off notification. Convenient? Maybe. But to do that, the app was silently tracking your movement through the terminal the entire time. Here is the pre-flight rule. If you aren't going to use the app on the plane or at the destination, delete it. You can always download it again when you get home. Travel with a clean phone. Now, you might be thinking, okay Kaka, I've scrubbed my apps, I've turned off the scanning. I'm ghost. I'm safe. I wish that were true. Because while you've locked the digital doors, you are about to walk into a physical trap that 80% of travelers fall for. It happens when your battery hits 10%. You see that convenient USB charging station built right into the seat at the gate. It looks like a lifesaver. But in the security industry, we call that the juice jacking trap. And plugging your phone into that port can do more damage in 30 seconds than any app ever could. In part 3, I'm going to show you exactly what happens to your data when you plug into a public USB port, and the one $5 gadget you need to carry in your pocket to stop it cold. Hit that like button if you just deleted an app, and let's get to the final warning. Look at this cable. You see a lifeline. A way to get enough juice to call your Uber when you land. I see a two-way street. Here is the physics of the problem. A standard USB cable has 4 pins inside. 2 are for power, to charge your battery. The other 2? They are for data transfer. When you plug your phone into a wall outlet at home, you are just using the power pins. Safe. But when you plug into a public USB kiosk at the gate, or even those USB ports on the back of the plane seat, you aren't plugging into a dumb outlet. You are plugging into a computer. And because of those data pins, your phone initiates a handshake with that computer the second you connect. In the industry, we call this the trusted relationship. Your phone assumes that because you plugged it in, you trust the device on the other end. This opens the door for juice jacking. Now, I'm not saying every USB port at O'Hare is malicious. But it is terrifyingly easy for a bad actor to unscrew the faceplate of a charging kiosk, swap out the hardware, and turn that free charging station into a data siphon. Once you plug in, they can potentially inject malware that logs your keystrokes. They can execute a video jacking attack, which records your screen in real time as you type in your bank password. Or, they can simply dump your entire photo gallery and contact list onto their server before you even hit 50% battery. And the worst part? You won't see a notification. Your phone will just charge. The theft is silent. So, how do you protect yourself without carrying a massive portable battery everywhere? You need a $5 gadget that I keep on my keychain every time I leave the house. This is called a USB data blocker. In the security field, we affectionately call it a USB condom. It is a simple adapter that goes between your cable and the charging port. It physically removes the two data pins. It physically cuts the connection that allows data transfer. When you use this, power can flow through, but data cannot. It physically makes a cyber attack impossible through that port. You can plug into a compromised kiosk, a hacker's laptop, or a sketchy rental car USB port, and they get nothing. Zero. If you don't have one of these, you have only one other option: the power brick. Never plug your phone directly into public infrastructure. Plug your wall charger into the AC outlet, the 3-prong plug, or use a portable power bank. The wall outlet is dumb power. The USB port is a potential computer. Know the difference. Let's recap the Ghost protocol for airport travel. 1. The purge. We deleted the free VPNs, the zombie weather apps, and the retail trackers that use beacons. 2. The shield. We went into settings and killed Wi-Fi scanning and significant locations so your phone stops shouting its name to every router in the terminal. 3. The barrier. We stopped trusting public USB ports and started using a data blocker or a power brick. By doing these 3 things, you have removed 90% of the attack surface that data brokers and hackers rely on. You aren't paranoid. You're just harder to exploit than the person sitting next to you. And in cybersecurity, you don't have to be unhackable. You just have to be a harder target than the next guy. The airport is the Wild West of data privacy. But now, you're the sheriff. I have a similar deep dive coming up on why you should never use the smart TV in your hotel room to log into Netflix. It's worse than you think. If you want to keep your digital life locked down, hit that subscribe button. I'm Kaka, this is Cost Kaka, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe.